When I knew they were doing a third movie of Annabelle, of the Annabelle series, I was working with James at the time, and he had said, I have to get this doll home. I have this idea of putting you guys in there to sort of send it off. So it's a very interesting sort of device, but yes, apparently so the story goes, and Lorraine has said this to us, that's something very strange and squirrely happened on the way home with squirrely.
Yeah, I love that.
So that's what we have in this film, is beginning with us kind of picking up from the beginning of Conjuring, actually, where we're speaking to the nurses and we take the doll. Now you see us take the doll, and what happens on the way home.
The fact is that the real life Judy was completely, she was paralyzed with fear. No, absolutely.
She still hates it.
You know, she was terrorized, knowing that these items were below her. And I think, you know, I always, from a parental standpoint, imagine Ed and Lorraine, what the challenge it was for them to raise a child to get comfortable with that fear.
Right.
Can you imagine?
Having a writer-director is always exciting, I think, for actors, honestly, because you really want to, because I'm fascinated by and always curious about the camera and the technical aspects of the shots, and so then when you have the writer who's, this is what I was going for in the scene, they work together, you know what I mean? So it's, plus he's just a great guy, so that's always a bonus.
Oh, she's wonderful.
Yeah.
She's wonderful. Just a fantastic human being, too. Everything. I don't think I've met a kid with better manners than McKenna.
Certainly not ours. I'm kidding. No, she's. It always amazes me when it's that fine balance of being seasoned enough to understand how a set works, how each take works, how actors work, directors work, you know, but still being able to be a kid. And she strikes that balance, and which is great, because you can tell she's having a lot of fun. She loves this. She loves doing it. But, you know, you can give her a note, yes, sir. She goes back and does it. I mean, so there's a real technical prowess.
I find remarkable about her generosity, her emotional generosity. She is. And you don't find this with kids often. Often you have to teach a child to give a compliment. Do you notice that about her?
Yeah.
How effusive she is with everyone, and how grateful she is. Oh, she hasn't?
No. What was fascinating about this from the beginning, and I remember James selling it to us, James Wan, that is, it was, as dark as you get with these stories, there was going to be a real freedom in wanting to show the light and the love. And that's something that I think we took and ran with, because we have fun doing this, and we have fun playing with each other, and we have fun with our I'd say director, although now that James isn't directing, you know, this one, at least with us, you know, he's still sort of our go-to, our guru. It's, you know, he's the brains behind the whole operation. So there's that right there is sort of built in for excitement with actors. We love playing these roles because we know we're going to get to do some high drama, high level scares, and some dealing with some pretty dark things. And then we're going to find all those moments to show the other side. And I think that's what, when we could talk about the Conjuring series, because all the other stuff that we're not involved in, it's hard to really have a real good conversation about that. But certainly for the Conjuring films, when we're talking about those, that it's been really fun for us to bring out the humor and the love, and we need that, and I think that's what starts to set this apart from other certainly from other franchises. It's nice to sort of revisit this, you know, because now I can go back to the first Conjuring and sort of, you know, try to get back into it that way. But I like going back and watching all of the old sort of cable access shows that you can kind of dig around online. And that's been, what's been interesting is to see where because of the success of the films and because of the amount of fun that we have together, watching how the writers that come on board now, when they're writing for you in these characters, whereas the first script is sort of written and you kind of go, oh, let me find my way in. And now it's this this
It's not
amalgam
only-
of sort of
yeah.
what Patrick and Vera bring, what
Yes.
Ed and Lorraine, what we need or are missing in the series. So it's a big, because we all want to keep moving forward and pushing each other.
I love the idea of playing a spiritual superhero. You know, no offense, Aqua guy.
Aqua gay.
Aqua guy. But yeah, I, you know, a woman who's in touch with her super normal mental powers of clairvoyance and
I
precognition.
like supernormal. That's good.
Yeah.
Supernormal is good.
I think it's very simple. I think love is really attractive. I think the purity of their love and that how connected they are and how they balance each other. And that purity is just a stark contrast to that negativity and the darkness that we portray. And that's what's so appealing. Ed and Lorraine have their orientation strictly is from a religious standpoint. They do believe that diabolical forces are formidable, that they exist, that they are eternal, and they are at play. And they believe that God's power is able to overcome that dark power, and you know their relationship and their faith in God, for them, is what gives them the ability to triumph over evil.
And it's unapologetic, and so you know, not that you set out to we're going to play to the Christians in this movie, or the it's not that. Again, it's just about faith. For them, yes, it happens to be Christianity and specifically Catholicism. But I think that is a very unusual. Usually, if there's religion in horror movies, it's usually just dealt with the priest. And I do think that was a real departure to have a very devout couple that's just unapologetic about saying God, saying Jesus, and I believe in that, and you know, and I think that, and we saw that I remember from the first Conjuring, when all of a sudden we were doing a junket, and you had a lot of people you had a lot of reporters that were from
interfaith, they were interdenomination,
and I
interfaith.
love that because it's so a part of their being. Us and the creators, all of us on this side of the camera, want to keep pushing and exploring their relationship as parents, as a couple,
and the toll that it takes. So each movie, we don't want to just sort of rehash the same. You know, oh, let me guess, they're gonna have a problem here. You know, it's got to be something anew. You know, you had me in peril in Conjuring 2, and you know, or her vision of that, and how that weighed on her, and you know, I mean, we're trying to explore different sides of them. So, I think as long as you keep that creative focus, then you're okay, right? I don't think anybody wants to rehash anything that we've done. We've never looked at these movies like horror movies. You know, when I think of movies, to me, that you know, you've got and I say this like with the support of a studio, and I mean that in a very positive way, that we have the time, and certainly with the Conjuring movies, the time and which really ends up being in the money and the days to shoot it, to take your time and make a right story. Because when you are striving to be in the same conversation of Shining, Exorcist, Silence of the Lambs, movies that to me transcend the horror movie, that's what we're going for. So. When that's what you do, then it ain't about some quick scare or a gimmick. Yeah, I think so. I think if I always think of this not as a genre story, but as a love story, then I think it will always hit home.
They should expect these to be the best, scariest, most rewarding films, and we should give it to them. And
we will.
Damn it, we'll try.
Hey, it's Lisa here with more on horror. The Exorcist was the first horror film to be nominated for a Best Picture Oscar. Now, the horror genre has never gotten much love from the Academy, though there still seems to be a bias against scary movies during awards season. The Exorcist earned 10 Oscar nominations in 1974, including Best Supporting Actress nod for Linda Blair, who was just 15 years old at the time. Now, do you like my shirt? You can get one in the description below.